We all like to know we're getting the most for our money, and that's why every year the Business Courier offers a detailed special report on CEO pay. This year's Bang for the Buck winner, this man, founder and CEO of MedPace, Dr. August Trendle. Trendle tops the Courier's list of executives who provided shareholders best results based on pay. Trendle took a 29% pay cut last year, the second steepest drop of any local CEO. That, coupled with solid company performance, put him at the top of the list. Trendle's total compensation last year was just under $600,000. The Courier researched the 27 locally based public companies whose stocks trade regularly on an exchange. Reporter Steve Watkins ranked them according to how they scored in terms of performance versus pay. Performance rank was subtracted from pay rank to determine the overall score. Companies with better performance rankings than pay rankings get higher scores. To talk more about the research and why the Courier does this every year, Steve joins Business Courier editor Rob Dawmeyer in the studio. Gentlemen.
Thanks, Peg. Steve, thanks for being here.
Glad to do it.
So this group of 20, how many?
27.
27 locally based public companies that you look into every year. Trendle, they had great performance. He took a pay cut. Why? Why did he take a pay cut?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. For one thing, before we get into that, his pay, we mentioned it's around $600,000, is actually the third lowest out of the 27 CEOs. Wow. So he took a cut. Also, his pay is low. And I asked him why he did get that cut. He said the board clearly felt he did not do a good job, and it's all a matter of what you think of as performance. What they measure performance on is different than what we do, and by their standards, they did not have a good year. And it's pretty clear they didn't. Their revenue growth was kind of mundane for them. It was about 8%. That's one of the big things they measure on. But part of the issue is the industry had a bad year last year. All the talk about cutting pharmaceutical spending during the 2016 election caused spending to go down. These guys do clinical trials for drug companies. The whole industry went down, and a lot of our measures compare companies to their peers. And MedPace did well against their peers. It was just kind of a low bar for everybody.
Yeah,
so
for them, right.
Yeah, they performed well. It's also interesting, don't feel too sorry for him. Despite his low pay, he owns $400 million worth of MedPace stock. Yeah. So, and he bought it at about $200 million at the IPO. Right. That has doubled over the last 3 years.
So you've been looking at CEO pay for a long, long time. Yeah. What did you see, anything that you saw this year that stood out to you just in general, not just with Trendle, obviously?
Yeah, a couple of trends that jumped out. And I talked to Shane Starkey at Thompson Hine. He's a pay expert. And a couple of things he pointed out that show up in our numbers. Companies are tying pay to performance a lot better than they used to. They're paying with stock and incentive pay, bonuses and things like that that are tied very strictly to company performance. In terms of CEO pay overall, it rose about 7%. It's a pretty nice gain, but the S&P 500 averaged close to 9%, so it's a little better than that.
So we shouldn't obviously go any further. But who were the top paid CEOs? You're doing pay for performance, but the first word there's pay. So who were the top paid CEOs?
And we do, Hannah McCartney, our data research editor, does a list of the top 25. Yep. David Taylor of P&G is on top, sort of predictably, at $18 million. WorldPay's Charles Drucker is actually second at $11 million. And then third and fourth are the Lindners from American Financial Group. They made just a little under $10 million each. Now, on my list, where we compare CEO pay to performance, the Lindners are co-CEOs. We add them together, and they actually top Taylor. But if you're asking about individuals, David Taylor is on top.
Well, this is always a fascinating look every year. We appreciate you being here to talk about it, and everybody should check this report out. It's really worth your time.